What's up, and welcome to the DualSense Podcast, a PlayStation news podcast. I am one of your co hosts, Jason. I'm joined as always by your other co host, who is calling himself today Lou Sasshole. He's also known as Travis. Travis, what's going on today? How are you?
Absolutely nothing. It's just raining.
Yeah, it was. It certainly was. I'm having a real problem today. We just discovered that for whatever reason, I can only hear you in one side of my earphones. So you're
Mhm.
only coming through in one of my ear holes, and I don't like that.
I think
I
it's
prefer I prefer you to come in both of my ear holes.
there you go. Are you deaf? Did you lose hearing?
I don't know. I hope not. Anything's on. It's all on the table. It's always a possibility, but it's really off-putting. It's throwing me off a little bit. I'm gonna have to get used to this as we go here. But uh, I also regret to inform you that Kevin Conroy passed away today. So we get together on the saddest of occasions to
Mhm.
record the podcast. He, of course, is the beloved and well known voice of Batman across animated film, television, and gaming. And he was only 66 years old, but apparently he had been sick for quite a while. He had just kept it private, and he had worked in video game media in general for over 30 years. So, and he, I mean, to us and to to everyone, pretty much, he is Batman. He's the voice of Batman. So, someone who comes after him, whoever that might be, has the biggest of shoes to fill. And I would say that it's probably impossible.
Yeah, I would say that the only two Batmans I think of are Adam West and him.
Yeah.
No offense to Christian Bale.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, when I picture Batman, I picture the goofy Adam West, but then I picture the gravelly voice of all the video games and TV shows. So I mean, it's kind of weird. And they died like almost 5 years apart, exactly, didn't they? Something weird like
Yeah.
that.
It's quite iconic too. His voice. It's very, very unique, very gravelly, like you said. I mean, it's an iconic voice. So nothing like mine and yours, of course. Anyway, Travis, like I said, we are a PlayStation podcast. You and I get together each and every week to discuss all of the news, rumors, new game releases, announcements, and much more in the world of PlayStation. We do it all in under 90 minutes, and we post it on all of the usual podcast services around the globe, as well as YouTube, where we also share gameplay videos and clips. But we're also on social media, of course. We're on Twitter at the DualSense Pod, also on TikTok now, as we were discussing last week. We post clips of the show there and highlights or clips from in game as well. So we're on TikTok at the DualSense Podcast. We're also on Instagram, where we share virtual photography, on Facebook, and we have a blog which is called the DualSensePodcast.wordpress.com. You can find us there and get the show notes each week, our bios, pictures, and of course the episodes, and links to the episodes as well. So be sure to find us. We would love to chat with you about PlayStation or about the show. And yeah, we appreciate you being here. And we'll, I guess, without further ado, jump right into the news here, starting with number one. Sony Interactive Entertainment is rumored to be developing a MMORPG based in the Horizon universe. According to news site MTN, whatever the hell that is, the project is being made at South Korean company NCSoft, the developer behind MMOs Lineage and Guild Wars. It is claimed NCSoft is currently hiring for the game, which is codenamed Project H. The company released a statement regarding the rumors, which read, in part, quote, "It is difficult to confirm information about unpublished projects that are currently under development," end quote. Horizon developer Guerrilla Games has long had plans to expand the franchise into multiplayer, according to website Video Games Chronicle, who previously reported that co op was initially planned for the first Horizon game, but scrapped to focus on other areas of development. VGC also reported that Forbidden West was slated to have co op as well at one point, but Guerrilla Games decided to save it for a future project. It's not impossible to believe that Sony would have an MMO in development considering their massive push into live service games, but on the other hand, it does seem a bit out of left field. So, what do you make of any of this? About a Horizon MMO and the fact that it's being made at an external, potentially, South Korean team?
Yeah, very strange to me that you throw it to an external team. And it seems like, we talked about before these news stories coming from sites we've never heard of. Case in
Mm.
point, M&T, and then it's also being outsourced to a company that I've never heard of, and I have no idea what they've done. Whatever NC Soft is, never came soft. I don't know what that means. Like, it's strange.
Yeah.
I guess it does seem a little bit out of left field, but when you look at kind of what Sony's been doing with all their titles, there's movies and TV shows and this, that, and the other. It makes sense that one of them would fall into an MMORPG eventually.
Mhm.
So I guess if you have a company that's already considered it and wanted to do it, it makes sense to let them kind of run with it because they already kind of have an idea in their head and it's a little bit, I guess, less challenging. And you're kind of trying to put something that's, trying to put like a square peg in a round hole because they already kind of have an idea. So I guess on that side, I can follow the logic, but
Mhm.
I never saw Horizon as a multiplayer thing. Co-op,
Sure.
sure. I mean, but any game, you could convince me any game could be co-op. It there's always room for co-op in a game. I can't think of one where it wouldn't make sense or add to the game in some way. Yeah, life's I don't know, it's just weird to me. It's kind of odd, but whatever. I guess they have a plan, but I mean, I completely disagree with their comment that it's difficult to confirm information when it's unpublished. Like they do shit all the time with like leaks and this, that, and the other. I mean, they just how many studios have we had in the last 3 weeks that have read off their 10-year plan and none of that stuff is published. So I mean, come
Mhm.
on.
Sure.
But yeah, no, it makes sense on some level to me, but the whole outsourcing it thing, I don't know. That's kind of strange.
You do make a good point in terms of, getting someone who this is sort of what they do, like sort of their wheelhouse. I mean, I do understand that if of course, if this is true, we don't know for certain. We haven't got any confirmation, but I do understand that, going out and getting someone who specializes in MMO games to do something like this. I do agree with you that it is hard in a way to think of Horizon as a multiplayer game. The co-op is one thing, and I've said before on the show that I do think that if they were going to do multiplayer, do it in a co-op fashion, that Horizon as a sort of Monster Hunter style game makes a lot of sense. Just the nature of the giant machines and the weapons and everything. I think they could totally pull off like a Monster Hunter style experience. So, the fact that they're going to what sounds like basically blow that out and make it a full blown, massively online game, a little bit hard to imagine right now, but at the same time, in a weird way, it also seems like the PlayStation game that is most apt for something like that because Forbidden West was so rich in storytelling. It had so many characters. The dialogue was so well written, and the quests were so good. Even the side quests. So like, there's definitely the bones there for that. But the problem is that like you have said, like we've been talking about already, it's going to be, if this is true, done by a team outside of PlayStation. So you almost feel like inherently you're going to lose some of that quality and some of those intangibles from the games that we've already gotten. The other thing that I think is a big question mark is if NCSoft is truly making this game, is PlayStation making them develop it on the Decima engine, which is which is the engine that the first two games have been on? Because I think that if they don't, I think that's a massive L. I think that if NCSoft develops this thing on their engine or some other engine, I feel like that's going to be jarring for fans of the games.
Uh-huh.
And you go from playing games that look and run and feel a certain way to playing a game that run, like imagine like if you took I don't know, like a shooter and put it on a sports game engine or something like that. So, and that's a bad example because EA does that shit with the Frostbite. Like Frostbite does FIFA and then does Battlefield. But like I don't know, I just feel like you can't take a Sony proprietary engine and or a game off of those engines and then let somebody else do something with it and expect it to hold up. So that's one of my concerns. But I guess we'll see if this is even true to begin with. It adds up in a way. At the very least, I think it's a very good guess. I think it's a very, very good guess at the very least. But one thing that I'm not quite able to reconcile is, we talked a couple of weeks ago about how there's this leak out there that Guerrilla Games themselves is working on a Horizon online game, is what it was called in that spreadsheet. So are they co-developing this game potentially with NCSoft? Is it something different? It's all question marks that we have at this point. Number two, PlayStation announced the November game catalog update coming to PlayStation Plus Extra and Premium on November the 15th. All the classic games were announced last week and include a slew of old Ratchet and Clank titles. So that's actually the premium releases. We already know about those. It's all those Ratchet and Clank games that we talked about last week. But on the extra tier in November, we're getting Elder Scrolls V Skyrim Special Edition on PS4 and PS5, Rainbow Six Siege on PS4 and PS5, a slew of Kingdom Hearts games for all you nerds out there. Kingdom Hearts HD 1.5 and 2.5 Remix for PS4, Kingdom Hearts HD 2.8 Final Chapter Prologue for PS4, and Kingdom Hearts 3 for PS4, and Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memory for PS4. Also, Oddworld Soulstorm Enhanced Edition will be available for PS4 and PS5, The Division 2 on PS4, Ghost Recon Breakpoint on PS4, Chorus on PS4 and PS5, which is like a spaceship shooter game. Looks kind of neat. What Remains of Edith Finch is going to be available on PS4, Gardens Between on PS4 and PS5, Earth Defense Force World Brothers on PS4, Earth Defense Force Iron Rain on PS4, and Oni Chanbara Origin on PS4. Okay, what do you think about the November editions?
I mean, all of it is on PS4. It seems like it's kind of weird.
Yeah.
I don't. I mean, classics, are these classics? Like, when does something become a classic? The Division 2 does not feel like a classic, as in, like, it's not old
Well,
enough.
so these aren't classics. These are the ones coming to the extra tier. So the classic games are all the Ratchet and Clank ones that we talked about last week. So I kind of had a little typo there. So this is all everything under the extra tier.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, okay. Well, if you like Kingdom Hearts, you got a king-sized heart on, so that's exciting for you. I love The Division, love Ghost Recon. They're both a lot of fun. Ghost Recon got better as it got older, so that should be fine there. For the rest of them, I'm not that interested in. I always hear about What Remains of Edith Finch, but I'm not. It just doesn't call to me. Rainbow Siege and Skyrim seem like
Mm-hmm.
pretty big toss-ins there. I'm not sure which one of those will get downloaded the most. I'd love to see it. Like, I'd love to see
Mm-hmm.
the numbers because it seems like either one of those has a real shot, which is interesting because I think different people, it appeals to different people for those games, even though you like both of them. I'd say you're in the minority on that, but yeah, I would say those two are the biggest ones. And the Division 2 popping
Yeah.
up makes me feel better about Heartlands again. Every time I see the Division 2, I'm like, okay, maybe we're getting somewhere.
Yeah, that's a good point. I never considered that. Ubisoft did throw a couple of games in there. Both are good. Division 2, fantastic. Ghost Recon Breakpoint got a lot better with the PS5 update that they did. It's a pretty fun game, and that I've gone back to randomly a couple times over the past year. So, like you said, the two big ones are Elder Scrolls Special Edition, Skyrim, I should say, and Rainbow Six Siege. My question is, I don't know who doesn't have Rainbow Six Siege at this point. I feel like it's like constantly like $15, but if you haven't, now's the time, I guess. Good game, kind of sweaty. You know, you got people who all they do is play this game. This is the only game they played for like 5 or 6 years straight. Can't even imagine that, but they're out there. I'm very excited about Special Edition, the Special Edition of Skyrim. I haven't, it'd be like the sixth or seventh time I played the game, but I have not played the PS5 upgraded version. I almost actually bought it a little while back. It was on a deep sale, and I didn't do it, so it paid off. It doesn't always, but this time it did. I felt like I played a demo for the chorus game. Like I said, it's pretty neat. I feel like it got kind of mediocre reviews, so there's that. And then, like you said, for all the nerds out there, they get all these Kingdom Hearts games. But I will say there has been some outrage online about the premium tier and the classic titles because, again, it's what we've been talking about on the show for a while now. Like, where are the classic games? Like, all the Ratchet and Clank games, okay, that's fine. Some of those are older, but where are PS1 games, guys? Where are PS2 games? Where are they? And it's a valid point. Also, PlayStation's doing some weird stuff with like how they determine what's a classic game. Like
Right.
you were kind of touching on it. Like sometimes, for instance, the GTA Vice City, the old GTA game remasters or definitive editions or whatever that were out, they came out and they were on the extra tier, but really they were remakes of classic games. So shouldn't they be on premium? And then you get Ratchet and Clank, who some of those are classic games. Okay, some are not. But then you get Kingdom Hearts. Some of these are classic games. remixed, remastered. Like it's just like what I'm trying to say is the rules are fluid. Like there's no rhyme or reason to what's a classic game, what constitutes going into the premium tier versus the extra tier. They're just playing fast and loose with it, and people are taking exception to that, and I don't blame them.
Hmm.
So I'll say again that I don't think to this point the premium tier has been a good value proposition.
That's fair.
Yeah, if I wasn't grandfathered in, I would not have the premium tier.
Unrelated to PlayStation, I heard the other day that Vice City's coming to Oculus.
Really,
That's just fascinating to me.
really, where did you see that at?
A guy I work with has an Oculus like developer thing, and
Oh,
he was telling me all about it. He's like, it should be wild. So who knows?
huh,
Maybe he'll get stuck in developer hell. But he said he has, I guess, some sort of version that he can mess with.
that's quite interesting. Hmm. I can't even imagine that. I mean, I guess GTA 5 is first person now. So,
Yeah, that's true.
number 3, Activision and Infinity Ward revealed this week, Travis, everything that is new coming for season 1 of Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone 2.0. And instead of typing it all out and regurgitating what I already wrote for gamingnexus.com, I'm just going to read my most of my article on Gaming Nexus. So, I like to cheat like that sometimes. So, here's a recap of everything that's coming next week. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone 2.0 are set for a November 16th launch across all platforms. The highlights include the addition of the DMZ mode for the free to play Warzone 2.0, as well as a couple of reimagined versions of classic multiplayer maps, new special ops and cooperative missions, and the game's first battle pass. The biggest change is, of course, a new map for Warzone 2.0 called Al Mazrah, which featured prominently in the single player campaign of Modern Warfare 2 and the special ops missions. Custom loadouts are returning in Warzone 2.0 and can be bought in match, claimed during loadout drop events, or picked up at AI fortified strongholds and black sites. The new DMZ mode is an open world and narrative focused extraction mode where players complete faction based missions and side objectives while fighting off other players and enemy AI to survive until extraction. DMZ will also get a third person playlist later in the season, which might finally fulfill this guy's long lost SOCOM dream, Travis. On the traditional multiplayer front, Shoot House and Shipment are returning as reimagined versions of the fan favorite maps. Shoot House takes place in a Los Alamos training ground, while Shipment is set on a cargo ship in the Atlantic Ocean. 4 new weapons and 6 new operators are being added as well, including Gaz from the campaign and soccer stars Paul Pogba, Leo Messi, and Neymar Jr. And I'm, of course, only scratching the surface here, if I'm being honest and touching on the big pieces. There was quite a bit more that was announced, things like proximity chat and interrogations during Battle Royale to gain intel, etc. All kinds of little details. So you can check out the Call of Duty blog in its entirety if you choose. But like I said, Warzone 2.0 and the first season of Modern Warfare 2 go live on the 16th, which is Wednesday. It can be preloaded starting November the 14th. And there is news today that allegedly the Warzone 2.0 file will be an additional 115 gigabytes on PlayStation. All right, so what do you think about the new season of Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 and Battlezone, Battlezone, God, Warzone 2? Any thoughts on any of that?
Yeah, Warzone 2 will not be on my hard drive. That's
Oh,
out of the
okay.
question. I don't need to take up 100 gigabytes for that. It's unnecessary. The other
Okay.
stuff sounds interesting. The co-op stuff sounds cool. The third person co-op sounds like a lot of fun. I'm interested to see how that works. I think it'll be cool actually. Shipment will be fun. I've always enjoyed Shipment, even though it's utter chaos and it's impossible to go positive on multiplayer, but it's just fun. Shoot House, I always liked Shoot House. I always thought that one was fun too. I'm cool with all that. The new guns sound cool. All the additions they're making sound fun. Even, if you like Warzone, that's still pretty awesome. Like, especially if you played the campaign, you kind of know where things are. So at least it's
Mhm.
familiar. So that's kind of interesting. If I was into that, I would be super happy. But the parts I am into, I'm excited about. I think they'll be cool. It's an interesting line that they're taking with the battle pass, where you can kind of pick and choose what you want to do, I guess. So,
Yeah, thank you for saying that. I forgot to say that.
oh yeah, sorry. Well, anyway, you can't really. This is an interesting way to do it because the linear progress is always kind of annoying because some people will never reach a certain point, and if you kind of build it out to where you can kind of pick your path and get what you actually want, I think it makes it a little bit more enticing
Mhm.
to try to chase things. So I don't really have a problem with any of it. Actually, I think it's a pretty good first season update.
Yeah, so what Travis is talking about, I forgot to say, but the battle pass is not going to be just a linear battle pass where you just rank up. It's going to be what they're calling multiple sectors on a map, on a battle pass map, and you kind of pick and choose which things you want to work towards to unlock. Which, like you said, is cool. I think that if there's a really cool gun that I want over here, I can go down this path first, get the gun, make sure I get that gun, before the battle pass ends, as opposed to some stupid skin that I don't want for one of the characters. You know what I'm saying? So that is cool, and I appreciate that. Anything that can respect my time, I appreciate. I Overall, this is a very robust update, a robust launch for Warzone 2.0. I am going to download it and give it a shot because I'm really interested in the DMZ mode most of all. So I'm curious to see how that works. I'm guess I'm going to sacrifice 115 gigabytes to do so, but a lot going on here. Big update, and like I said, I didn't even touch on all of it. So I'm excited about it. Excited about the new maps. Shoot House looks cool. Shipment looks awesome. I really hope that you've played the campaign too at this point. I don't know if you've beat it, but I know you played this map. But there's a map in the campaign, and I'll try not to spoil it, but you're on a cargo ship there too, and the cargo containers move on you. And it would be really cool if the shipment map had moving containers. That would just add to the chaos. That'd be so fucking awesome, I think. So I don't know if they'll do that or not, but I hope so. One thing you and I have talked about this before the game came out, and I'm pretty sure it's not in the game, but one thing that I'm hoping that they add down the road is gunfight. The 2v2 mode that we loved so much in the first Modern Warfare. Like, where is that? Why did they not bring that back? We need that badly. Number 4, Sony revealed October's most downloaded games on the PlayStation Store. On PlayStation 5, the most downloaded game was Modern Warfare 2, followed by Gotham Knights, FIFA 23, NBA 2K23, Madden 23, NHL 23, God bless all kinds of 23s, GTA 5, PGA Tour 2K23, Cyberpunk 2077, A Plague Tale Requiem, The Last of Us Part 1, Mount and Blade 2, Bannerlord, Star Ocean The Divine Force, Rainbow Six Siege, Resident Evil Village 3. I'm sorry, what did I say? Resident Evil 3, I should say. Followed by Resident Evil Village, Stray, Medieval Dynasty, Spider Man Miles Morales, and Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order at 20. On PS4, number 1 was also Modern Warfare 2, followed by FIFA 23, Madden 23, NBA 2K23, Minecraft, GTA 5, NHL 23, Red Dead Redemption 2, Dragon Ball The Breakers, PGA Tour 2K23, Modern Warfare 1 from 2019, Need for Speed Heat, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, Black Ops 3, UFC 4, Gang Beast, Dragon Ball Fighters, Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, Need for Speed Payback, and Cyberpunk 2077 at 20. On PSVR, the only thing noteworthy, Travis, is that NFL Pro Era 22 took the top spot this month. Don't know if that's a new game or not, but that just kind of shot up there. And then over in free to play, Overwatch 2 jumped all the way to the top spot following its massive launch of 35 million players, followed by Fortnite at number 2 and The Sims at number 4, or I'm sorry, The Sims 4 at number 3 after its move to a free to play title. And the rest of the list is just what you'd expect. So, is anything stand out to you here?
I don't know what the hell's going on PlayStation 4. They've downloaded every Call of Duty ever made. I don't know what they're doing over there. It's a
They
fucking
did.
mess. On the 5, Gotham Knights at 2 is a little bit surprising to me. Didn't expect that to be up there. It's wild to me that PGA can be 8th on the list, and it's a very mediocre game.
Mm.
Very strange.
Mm-hmm.
What else we got here? Star Ocean: The Divine Force. I don't know what that is. Medieval Dynasty cracking the top there is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Interesting to see Stray there. I didn't expect that at all. So,
Right.
but other than that, anything with the 23 that's up there, except for the PGA Tour, is not that surprising. Spider-Man, Star Wars, your typical franchises that you see, and then Mountain Blade kind of sliding up there. Like Mountain Blade and Star Ocean seem to be kind of out of place to me, but there must be something there,
First of all, I'm a little bit surprised that Gotham Knights landed at number 2 on
right?
PS5. I mean, I understand the power of the IP, but everything, the conversation leading up to that was somewhat, I mean, pretty negative considering that, at the last there, we learned that it would only be 30 frames per second, and the UI sucked and it got mediocre reviews. So for all of that to add up to being the second most downloaded game is pretty impressive. Like you said, anything with a 23 in it did very well last month, which is funny. Mountain Blade 2 Bannerlord, like you said, you pointed that out. I think that's awesome that it jumped in there into the top 20. That's one of those games I'm keeping my eye on, waiting for a sale. I'm very interested to check that out. Don't know why Stray kind of bounced back in there. Figured everyone had played that at this point. And then, of course, it is neat that Medieval Dynasty made it in there. People curious about that and about that medieval life simulator. Maybe they read that review on Gaming Nexus from that one guy, got intrigued by it. Who knows? Nothing really stands out on PS4 other than the fact that the forest is not there. Where did it go? It fell off. And one other thing does stand out: Need for Speed Heat and Need for Speed Payback hit the list. I think that goes to the fact, or speaks to the fact, that people are getting a little bit excited about Need for Speed Unbound, which is coming at the 1st of December. So I think people are downloading that out of a bit of excitement, maybe. And then on free to play, it's pretty huge of Overwatch 2 to just jump in there and take the top spot. Like we always say, when games just shoot up to the top of the free to play like that, it'll be interesting to see where it is next month and how I can hang on into the top 10. There's a lot of competition in the free to play category, so we'll see. Number 5, Travis, we have a bunch of news nuggets as well. Feel free to jump in here whenever you see fit. First nugget: PlayStation released a new sizzle reel for the PlayStation 5 this week, which included footage from Final Fantasy 16. More importantly, though, is that the fine print on the Final Fantasy 16 footage revealed that the game will only be exclusive to PS5 for 6 months, which is surprising because we have been talking about and people have been thinking that it might be locked to PS5 forever, and that maybe even, in fact, PlayStation was going to buy Square Enix. So that's quite interesting. Also, Forspoken revealed 10 in-game activities that you can expect to keep you occupied, which is welcome news considering how lifeless the world has looked in marketing to this point. Players can seek out monuments, play flashbacks, claim new powers from founts of blessing, I should say, complete spellcraft and combat challenges, gather coins, take on challenging enemies in labyrinths, take pictures at photo spots, and find magical familiars across the world. I'm not convinced about the lifeless world yet, but the combat does look a lot better.
But nobody's playing the game. So
You think it's going to bomb?
it's just going to be a lifeless game.
Just in general, the game's lifeless itself. Its cells will be lifeless, and we'll see. January 24th or 26th, something like that. Next nugget: Sony announced a November refresh for the PlayStation Stars program this week, including new campaigns and new digital collectibles, if you like. Website Video Games Chronicle reported that Street Fighter 6 will have a quote-unquote button mashing control scheme that lets the AI perform moves for the player. So I thought that was kind of neat. Seems like cheating, though. I don't know. Also, FIFA, the world governing body for soccer, Free Animals Now, announced that their first video games following the dissolution of their partnership with EA Sports will be blockchain titles, Travis. The 4 games are AI League FIFA World Cup Qatar 2022 edition, FIFA World Cup Qatar 2022 in the Upland Metaverse, FIFA World Cup Qatar 2022 on Figital, and Matchday Challenge, FIFA World Cup Qatar 2022 edition. What in the fuck is going on here?
What the fuck they're
All
talking
this
about?
sounds awful.
I don't know what they're talking about.
They're gonna bomb. They're so done. Nobody's playing this shit. I'm sorry.
And you don't make 4. Why would you make 4? Just make 1.
I don't know.
What are you doing?
Nobody's playing this shit.
On what engine is it on? Why is it on a blockchain?
Yeah.
Is it an NFT game?
Yeah, it's an NFT game, of course.
I mean, it's just fucking stupid. It's just stupid.
Mm-hmm. It is. It's brilliant. Brilliant in the most stupid way. Also, God of War Ragnarok's Day 1 patch includes over 160 fixes for the game, from dialogue to combat to quest bugs. A new Cyberpunk 2077 update dropped this week and included support for AMD's Fidelity FX Super Resolution 2.1 upscaling technology, which should mean improved performance on PlayStation 5. Publisher Electronic Arts announced that they have ended their Project Cars series and closed down developer Slightly Mad Studios, who they absorbed as part of the Codemasters deal in 2021. Some Slightly Mad staff, that's so funny when you read it that way, will be moved to other EA studios if possible, EA has claimed. Website Insider Gaming later reported that EA has also canceled the Dirt franchise, Travis. Wow.
Yeah,
Off with
Project
their
Cars
heads.
sucks.
It does
I
it?
don't care about Project Cars. Yeah, it's fine. The only thing good about Project Cars is the weather model.
Oh.
The dirt thing is annoying, but I kind of get it, but it's still annoying. There's Because like that's over, WRC's over. There's just not really a rally game anymore, so that's kind of annoying. But I get it. It's kind of niche. Like, what do you expect?
Yeah, I did see. So you might want to look into this. I did see somewhere that WRC 23 is coming next year. So I was of the belief that WRC Generations was the last one. So you might look that up and see if that's real or not. But I could have swore I read somewhere that WRC 23 is a thing. I don't know if someone else is doing it besides Codemasters or something like that, maybe.
I think
But
it's a blockchain game, and FIFA's going to run it.
oh Christ, for fuck's sake! Next nugget: one of the worst kept secrets in gaming, the PC port of Returnal, has been confirmed in a new Steam database update this week, which added the name of the game to the system rather than the usual codename of Oregon. So I don't know why PlayStation doesn't just announce it. Also, the European Union has officially launched an in depth investigation into Microsoft's acquisition of Activision Blizzard. In a statement, they said they have concerns over the deal reducing competition in the console and PC gaming markets. They also set a deadline to complete the investigation of March 23rd. So there's another one that the Brits and the Europeans they don't like it. They're worried about it. That seems like that could be a problem for Microsoft. We'll see. Overwatch 2 has topped 35 million players in its first month on the market, as I alluded to earlier. Take-Two Interactive claimed this week that the massive GTA 6 leak, quote unquote, won't have any influence on development of the game. See about
Why
that.
would it?
Yeah,
Like,
true.
why would it though? I mean, what did they even show that would make you change it? It's not like they had like a homophobic main character that you would
Yeah, I think
obviously
that.
change. Like,
Yeah, no, I think of it more from a standpoint of like security. Like, did they steal a bunch of like source code or like figure out a way to like, you know what I'm saying? Like something that they have to like change drastically for a security reason because there's some type of like loophole or some way that people can get into their system. That's the only thing I was thinking of. So, also, Activision confirmed that it intends to deliver, quote unquote, the next full premium release in the Call of Duty series in 2023. The news is a tad misleading, though, as industry insiders Tom Henderson and Jason Schreier both reiterated that the 2023 release will be a large expansion to this year's Modern Warfare 2. Schreier added that the next proper Call of Duty release is coming in 2024 from developer Treyarch. Ubisoft canceled pre-orders this week of its delayed Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time remake, but confirmed that it is still in development. Modder Lance McDonald said in a tweet that the game recently went gold and even passed certification at Sony for release on PlayStation. I don't understand.
how?
I don't understand.
None of that makes sense.
No, it's just literally none of it makes sense. Also, BioWare released a new Mass Effect 4 teaser this week on N7 Day and said that pre-production is going quote unquote very well. Of course it is. After hitting $800 million, and there it is again, $800 in revenue, Travis. After hitting $800 million in revenue in its first week, Modern Warfare 2 has now crossed $1 billion in just 10 days on the market.
Yeah, can you imagine why you'd want that to be exclusively on your system?
Yeah, no fucking shit. But they'll still be third behind PlayStation and Nintendo, mind you. Also, Windows Central has reported that Diablo 4 will release sometime in April and that pre-orders will go live during the Game Awards in December. Netflix announced that their Dragon Age anime series called Dragon Age Absolution will release on December the 9th. DICE announced that Battlefield 2042 will be headed to the EA Play library with the launch of Season 3, which is rumored to be on November 22nd. It will also get a period of free access on PlayStation at some point in December. That date is actually December 23rd. Website GamesIndustry.biz reported that Disco Elysium studio Zome, Zaum, fired a recent slew of employees and founding members due to misconduct, verbal abuse, gender discrimination, and toxic culture.
Cool.
Yeah, they're going to court over that one, actually. That's also the communist studio, so how'd that work out? Death Stranding has now reached 10 million players. Or is it communist or Marxist? It doesn't matter. Also, Death Stranding has now reached 10 million players since its launch in 2019. Impressive. Website Push Square reported that The Last of Us developer Naughty Dog has hired Anders Howard as its principal monetization designer. Howard previously spent 7 years at Epic Games, where he helped develop the Battle Pass for Fortnite and consulted on the Battle Pass for Rocket League and Fall Guys. I think this is actually very big news. I actually probably should have made it its own story, but this means, I think, is confirmation that The Last of Us multiplayer will be a free-to-play game and will have robust monetization. I mean, they went out and hired the cream of the crop for battle passes, which is Fortnite. I mean, look how much money that thing makes. So it's very
Right.
interesting.
And the nice thing is he hasn't dipped into NFTs.
True. That's true. Also, a new Valkyrie Elysium update has added more modes and difficulty levels to the Square Enix published action RPG. A virtual reality adaptation for the Netflix Stranger Things series is releasing late next year for quote unquote all major platforms. Publisher NIS America has confirmed that the PS5 port of Ys 8 and Lacrimosa of Dana will feature various graphical improvements, a 4K 60 mode, and a performance mode for 120 frames per second. God of War Ragnarok director Eric Williams told GQ UK that just 3 months ago, some of Sony Santa Monica staff were freaking out about the game not being any good. Ragnarok, of course, scored at a mere 94 on the Metacritic. Williams also revealed to GQ that the studio now has a headcount of 400 people. Quite interesting. It goes to show you that a lot of times games really coalesce and come together right at the very end in the home stretch. Speaking of Ragnarok, it has become the fastest selling entry in the God of War franchise in the UK. And reports surfaced this week that collector's editions of the game are arriving without the game itself. Uh-oh. Oopsie. Also, 3 PlayStation games have been nominated for the British Golden Joysticks Awards: God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, and Gran Turismo 7. Ys 10 is planned to release on PS4 and PS5 by the end of September 2023, according to new financial reports from developer Falcom. The recently announced Hello Neighbor Search and Rescue has been confirmed to be a PSVR 2 launch title on February 22nd, joining Cities VR, Horizon Call of the Mountain, and Swordsman VR, is what we know about so far. PUBG owner Krafton has acquired developer Neon Giant, the team behind cyberpunk isometric shooter The Ascent. Neon Giant is currently working on an open world first person shooter. Modern Warfare 2 is on the cusp of passing Call of Duty Vanguard in total lifetime sales in Europe after just a few weeks on the market. Just goes to show you how much people did not like Vanguard. Also, Journey developer That Game Company's latest game, called Sky Children of Light, now has a PlayStation Store page that lists December as its release window, so it's coming very soon. Maybe a stealth launch during the Game Awards. Who knows? Action RPG Steel Rising got a new DLC this week called Cagliostro's Secrets. Website PlayStation Lifestyle reported that Sony's Gran Turismo movie has cast Jerry Halliwell Horner, better known as Ginger Spice Travis from pop band The Spice Girls. She was our server at lunch the other day. She's playing a parent of the teenage protagonist who's being played by Archie Madekwe. Jerry's husband is the current team principal of the Red Bull Formula One team, Travis. An Oscar nominee, Digimon. I have no idea how to say this guy's name. Digimon Hunsao from Blood Diamond has also been cast as the other parent. All right. Does this mean anything to you? Excited about Ginger Spice being in your Gran Turismo movie?
No, I just think it's crazy that she's married to Christian Horner from the Red Bull F1 team. That's the weirdest
Yeah.
part to me. I don't know
Yeah.
who Archie Madakwe is or Dijon Mustard is either.
That's good. I know him from Gladiator. Pretty sure he's in that. So, next nugget: rumors of a Metal Gear Solid 3 remake have intensified this week after developer Virtuous listed publisher Konami as a client on its website. Seems like it's happening. Website PlayStation Universe reported that the following games received update patches this week: Jurassic World Evolution 2, FIFA 23 getting its World Cup update, Neverwinter, Multiversus, God of War Ragnarok, Modern Warfare 2, Dying Light 2, No Man's Sky, Cyberpunk 2077, Capcom Arcade Stadium, Dauntless, Gotham Knights, and Hunt Showdown. So if you've been waiting for some fixes or content, check those out. Also, Warren Spector, the creator of Deus Ex and System Shock, is working on a new multiplayer immersive sim known as Argos, Riders on the Storm, I should say. Remedy Entertainment revealed during its latest investor report that Alan Wake Remastered sold below expectations and that the company has not made any royalties on the game. Ouch.
I gotta say that it sold at my expectations.
Oh, that's fair enough. Yeah, same.
I
That's
just
fair.
you can't remake everything. That felt like a game that you
No,
shouldn't remake to me.
that's a very good point. That is a massively good point. These companies cannot remake everything. In fact, they should stop remaking so many fucking games. Remedy also announced this week that it has partnered with publisher 505 Games to co-develop and co-publish a sequel to Control, which is in development for PlayStation 5. Very exciting. Actor Murray Bartlett, who plays Frank in HBO's upcoming adaptation of The Last of Us, told Collider that one particular episode is, quote, one of the best hours of television that I've ever read, end quote. Telling you, I think it's going to be big.
A small problem with that is television's a visual medium. I
True,
mean,
but it's telling a
just saying.
story. Yeah, it's
Yeah, but
telling a
how many
story.
books have you read that don't translate to movies? I don't know. It just doesn't. I would
That's
be like,
fair.
okay, like
No,
whatever.
no, that's fair. That's fair. Also, Frederick Wester, the CEO of Paradox Interactive, said in a recent interview that Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2 could finally launch in 2023 after a development riddled with turmoil and changes in development teams. Season 10 of The Division 2 launches in
All right.
December, with Season 11 scheduled for early next year, including the addition of a new game mode called Descent. Website Gaming Nexus reported that open world Chinese action game Project The Perceiver was announced this week for multiple platforms, but no release date was given, and it looks quite a bit like Ghost of Tsushima, Travis. It looks pretty sick. It's fucking dope. Also, firefighting simulator The Squad, or The Square as I have here, will make its way to PS4 and PS5 on December the 6th. Oh boy. Oh boy. Back for Blood's third expansion called River of Blood, how original, also released on December. Jesus Christ, will also release on December the 6th, and it adds a new cleaner, new story act, new weapons, and new enemies. Pixel JRPG Chained Echoes will launch on December the 8th for PS4 and PS5, and that looks fucking dope as well. Lovecraft and Junji Ito inspired game World of Horror will release sometime next summer for PS4 and PS5. Battlefield 2042 gave us a hint at what is coming alongside Season 3 and a new developer update this week, including a new specialist, new map, and new weapons. More importantly, however, developer DICE announced that they're currently in pre-production on additional content beyond the game's fourth and what would have been its final season. So, very good news that we're getting more content beyond what has already been announced, Travis. They didn't lie to us. They're in it for the long haul, apparently. Next nugget, website Gamatsu reported that Wrestling Pixel RPG WrestleQuest, which looks awesome, will launch for PS4 and PS5 sometime in May. Narrative adventure game Dordogne will launch for PS5 and PS4 next spring. Slice of life narrative adventure game A Space for the Unbound will release on PS4 and PS5 on January 19th. 3D action game Oni, Road to be the Mightiest Oni, will launch on PS4 and PS5 on March 9th. Coffee Talk Episode 2, Hibiscus and Butterfly, Travis, will release on PS4 and PS5 and sometime in the spring. I know you can't wait for that one.
It can't be good.
JRPG Tales of Symphonia Remastered will come to PS4 worldwide on February 17th. Neptunia Sisters vs. Sisters will launch on PS4 and PS5 on January 24th, a little sister on sister crime on Neptune. Roguelite Dungeon RPG Void Terrarium 2 will launch for PS4 on February 28th. Multiplayer third-person mech shooter War Robots Frontiers was announced for PS4 and PS5 with a release date of 2023, and it looks pretty cool, actually. So does Roguelite action game Arc Runner, which was announced for PS4 and PS5. It will also launch sometime next year. And finally, Travis Gamatsu reported that cooperative adventure game We Were Here Forever will launch for PS4 and PS5 on January 31st. And that is all for the news this week. I'll now turn it over to Travis for this week's new games.
On November 8th, we have Cobra Kai 2 Dojo's Rising, return to
Nice.
Monkey Island. Sonic Frontiers, the Letter Classic Edition, Yum Yum Cockstar. We also have on the 9th, God
Is
of
that
War.
Cockstar or Cookstar?
Same thing. On Jesus. On November 9th, we have God of War Ragnarok, Super Woden GP. On the 10th, we have Arcade Archives, Baraduke, Kaiji Wars, Lord of the Click 2, Micro
Lord of the
Arcade,
Clit.
Micro Arcade Apple Pie, Police Simulator Patrol Officers. On the 11th, we have Atari 50, the Anniversary Celebration, Cat Break, Garfield Lasagna Party, which could be the same thing.
Could be.
Wow. John Fart, Textiverse of Craziness. Paper
Paul Blart's
Flight.
cousin.
It is Paper Flight, Speed Rush, Save Room, Tactics, Ogre Be Reborn,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. The Fox Awaits Me, World Soccer Pinball. I used to love pinball on PC.
Mm-hmm.
And Yum Yum Cookstar.
Twice. It's always one that comes out twice, isn't there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So let's see here. Obviously, I mean, without question, the biggest game of the week and perhaps of
John
the
Fart.
year is John Fart, Textiverse of Craziness, or Garfield and Lasagna Party. No, it's God of War Ragnarok. Of course, I still have not played it, which we'll talk about here in just a moment. What else is interesting here? Oh, Police Simulator Patrol Officers. Quite interesting. Talk about that in just a moment. I know people were excited about Tactics Ogre Reborn. That's a, what is it? I guess a turn based strategy tactics game. So that's interesting. But yeah, that's all for the new games this week. We'll start to wrap the show up now by discussing what we've been playing and anything that we're looking forward to. Travis, you're first, as always.
I play a little Call of Duty. Unlock the Icarus. The Icarus is fun. I enjoy that.
Oh, yeah.
The what is it? The SPR, the SBR, the SRP, whatever it's called.
Yeah,
I found that I'm much better with the iron sights than I am the scope, and I've kind of found on the game that I like the iron sights more than any kind of visual optic. It seems like I
I
can't
agree.
see people as well, which is kind of defeats the purpose, obviously.
Hmm.
Let's see, what do we played? I feel like I had a little bit more success playing Hardpoint or in Domination than I did Team Death this week, which
Mm,
is interesting. There was one game where we just destroyed these guys, but I was like 32-8 or 10 or something like that. But like
yeah, you did.
I play a little bit better when I can if I play Capture the Flag, it's just having another objective seems to make me play a little bit better. I guess it kind of helps me
Yeah,
think about like where people are coming from and how to defend an area. When I play in team deathmatch, I kind of just go rover, and it doesn't always work out. So it's like the more complicated the game, it just simplifies it for me a little bit. The only other thing I did was the car that I drive in real life. They have the racing version of it on Gran Turismo, so
oh,
I bought it and I painted it. I gave it a Dr. Pepper scheme, so I thought that was really fitting. So I'm very excited about that.
perfect.
So I can come in last.
Well, I also played some Modern Warfare 2 with you. As you said, we played some various game modes this week. I don't remember playing particularly well. I remember you playing well. You had a moment this week,
Hmm.
or last weekend, I should say. So that was fun though. I really enjoy the game. Don't get me wrong. I'm working on. I have like 12 classes, whatever. I'm 12 loadouts, and each of them are pretty much a different gun. So I'm working on leveling up all kinds of different stuff, and I do enjoy how, for the most part, every gun plays differently in a way. And all my classes play differently. So I'm excited to play more this weekend. This is our time with you being off work to kill people, digital people, I should say. And before we get into the big update, the big season 1 coming on Wednesday. So excited about all that too. The only other thing that I've been playing this week is Police Simulator Patrol Officers, which, as I mentioned last week, I am reviewing for Gaming Nexus. At this point, I can give some impressions of the game I could not last week, although I have put a few gameplay videos up on our YouTube channel if you're curious
Hmm.
as to what it is. But
Dude, that fucking car crash you sent me. Oh my god! Like I
yes,
did not see that coming. It was fucking hilarious.
dude, it was so funny. I mean, you obviously saw I was running the radar gun, taking speed checks, whatever. And then I just was following, like, that was totally exactly how it happened. I was following the one car. I had no idea that that other car had just stopped in the road for no good reason.
Just stopped.
And the car, so I'm following a car and the camera's following too, and it just completely rear ends another car in the middle of the road at 45 miles an hour. And I can't remember what all was going on with that. Oh, wait. Yes, I do. So obviously, traffic accident, and no one was under the influence of any drugs, but the person who did the rear ending was driving with a fake ID. So I had to arrest them and book them. and throw them in jail. So that was interesting. Today, I was playing a little bit earlier, and as you progress in the campaign in your career, or whatever, you unlock different types of crimes and all that, but you also unlock different types of like abilities or equipment. So I just unlocked the ability to put people in the back of my police cruiser. So I was arresting people left and right and stuffing them in my police cruiser before we started doing the show here.
How many can you
And
put in the back?
so the standard police cars are two, and then the one that's like the DLC, the big giant like Ford Expedition or whatever, is four. So I gotta say, I think the game is great. I adore it. Now, of course, I won't share everything here because I'm getting ready to write a review here in a few days, but it does have quite a bit of what I'm going to call a simulator jank, and everybody that, and you all know exactly what I'm talking about. You know exactly what simulator jank is.
Mhm.
If you've ever tried one, if you've ever played like, lawn mowing simulator, bus simulator, train sim, whatever. Just pick one. They're all a bit janky,
Yeah,
right?
it's
They're
like
a
a
little
charm.
rough around the edges. Yeah, but there's some charm to it. Now, with all that said, I think there's some things that need to be fixed in the game as well. But on the whole, very much enjoying it. It's been wonderful. It has multiplayer. I have yet to try that, but I'm going to check that out at some point and test that. So, I'm just saying, we could arrest people together.
It does sound
It's
hilariously fun.
Yes, and it's got to be it's a great game. I mean, people love watching for whatever reason. People love watching simulator games on YouTube and stuff. Yeah, I mean, look at me and you. We watch that Fabiano guy do police shit on GTA. We
Yeah,
used to all the time. So
like all the time.
yeah, yeah, exactly. So anyway, that's all I've been playing this week. Looking forward to finishing up Police Simulator, getting my review done, and then it's time to play God of War Ragnarok. I've just been focusing on Police Simulator this week, obviously, because I'm on a deadline for that. But
Mm.
I am ready to play God of War. It obviously is an incredible game based on the reviews, and I'm also looking forward to playing some more Modern Warfare 2 this weekend. Me and you killing some folks, so it's time to do that as well. So
Yeah, one of the
fun
things
week.
I love about this is, if you imagine go back in time to when God of War got announced, Ragnarok, right?
Uh huh.
And what you imagine that first week of gameplay would be like, and never did you ever consider Police Simulator would be why you hadn't played it. That's hilarious.
That's a very good point. Yeah, if you would have told me last year that the reason why I hadn't played God of War yet was because I was reviewing Police Simulator patrol officers, I would have told you to get the fuck out of here.
That's so weird.
So it is, but thus is life. Say la vie. All right, Travis, that's it for you. That's it for me. That's it for the show. It's time to get out of here. A breezy 60 minutes we're going to get out of here in. And so if you enjoyed it, don't forget to subscribe and like on YouTube or on your podcast feed. Leave us a rating, a review, some stars, hearts, thumbs up. All that stuff is wonderful, quite helpful. Also helpful if you leave us a written review, if you so please, on whatever your podcast service is. We would very much appreciate that. And most importantly, if you would share us with a friend or a loved one who you think might enjoy this very show, we would be much obliged, and we would love for you to introduce us to their ear holes. Very much so. Don't forget to find us on social media to chat PlayStation with us. We're on Twitter at the DualSense Pod, TikTok at the DualSense Podcast, Instagram, Facebook, and our blog, which is the DualSense Podcast.wordpress.com. Be sure to reach out to us. We'd love to hear from you. So we'll get out of here. You guys take care. Have a great week. Take care. And we'll talk at you next time. Bye bye.